chooses to probably turn off their cameras, feel free to do so. Third, as I was saying, we would love to know from where you are joining in and what do you choose to challenge. Please make use of the chat box as much as you can, and we would love to know from where you're joining in. Most important aspect, we would love to have lot many questions from everybody. As many number of people, as many number of questions is what we would love to have. So please type in your questions and we would definitely take those questions at the end of the session, right? And on that note, we would love to have viewers stay through the session until we finish the session. So yes, warm welcome once again. I am Pradnya Punekar. I am your host, and it's my pleasure and honor to host this event for everybody. Welcome you all to this event, which is organized by Her Transformation, especially on the occasion of International Women's Day, as we are celebrating International Women's Week, which is extended now. Her Transformation, a little bit about the program of what we are organized. Her Transformation is a 30-day challenge program, which was started by Success Coach Nilesh and me. Success Coach Nilesh is in the background, but Nilesh, it would be great if you can just say hi to all of them, and they would also love to probably know Success Coach Nilesh as well. So yes, it was started.
Hello and welcome everyone. Thank you for joining, and all the best. Yeah.
Thank you, Nilesh. So it was started by Success Coach Nilesh and me with the vision of women's development and empowerment. As I said, this event has been specially organized on the occasion of International Women's Week, which we're all celebrating around the year. And this year, the theme that we have is Choose to Challenge. The last 1 year has been extremely difficult for everyone around the world. But we all have shown resilience and courage. And let us continue to do so, to rise to the challenges we face with dignity and honor. Many articles have published in the recent times that many women around the world have lost their jobs during the pandemic. There's a huge number and percentage of women who have lost their jobs in this pandemic. And it feels quite right to have a theme like Choose to Challenge, where we can choose to challenge various aspects of our workplace, our life, or different aspects of life. We come across many inspiring women who are changing this world. It begins right from our own home to many on the global stage. Over decades and centuries, we have had many inspiring women who have broken barriers, challenged stereotypes, and fought to bring the change that we are experiencing today. And hence, it becomes our primary duty to consciously work towards women development and empowerment and various other areas of women empowerment. To make this possible, we must develop many platforms, organizations, communities, institutions, which will foster and help women develop their skills and give them a boost in their confidence, courage, and conviction, which will enable them to become financially independent and become a voice which will make an impactful difference in our society. Do you agree with me or not? I would love to hear in the chat box, and please feel free to do so on the thoughts and ideas which I have just shared a little bit about some articles which were shared in the news, how the pandemic has affected women, and how women have changed the world historically. I would love to hear your thoughts and ideas. Feel free to share them in the chat box. Our today's panelists are such inspiring women from various industries who have carved a successful career in spite of the challenges and the career breaks they have had in their own life. Today, they will share their journey, their wisdom, thoughts, ideas, insightful conversations, which will help and guide you through your journey professionally and personally. a quick introduction to our today's panelists to begin with. And I request all the panelists to raise your hands just so that our audiences know who you all are. Again, a warm welcome to everybody for our audiences. Feel free to use the chat box, share your thoughts, comments. Please type in your questions to our panelists. We would take all the questions at the end of this session. Introducing our panelists are, like, as I said, they are the most inspiring women from various industries. Our first panelist for today is Dr. Aishwarya Patil. She was an assistant professor in Pune who received the Best Teacher Award and an Entrepreneur Award. She is the founder of AM Associates, a consultancy firm, and her clients include IBM India, Infosys, Autodesk, Mindtree, Institute of Chartered Accountant of India, National Defense Academy, Pune. She took a career break to pursue PhD, and her PhD topic is about gender equality and career progression of women employment in the IT industry. Aishwarya, a warm welcome to you, and thank you for being our panelist today. Targe. She's a trainee doctor, worked as a pediatrician in India for 1 year, and sidelined the diploma in Forsenic medicine. And currently, she is working in NHS since 2016. Madhura, a warm welcome to you, and thank you so much for being a panelist today. Our third panelist is Meenal Vaktsaude. Meenal is a learning and development professional who has been in this field for 8 years. Previously, Meenal has worked at Google, BBC, PwC, and recently she has joined Amazon as the L&D manager. Meenal, a warm welcome to you, and thank you so much for being a panelist today. Our next panelist is Nilima Ghatge. Nilima is an IT professional. She has 13 years of industry experience in the IT, and she has handled various responsibilities from developing projects to leading and even managing big projects. Her expertise is in the area of Microsoft application development. Nilima, a warm welcome to you, and thank you so much for being a panelist today. And our last panelist is Sajita Nair. Sajita is an HR professional. She has worked in the area of HR in various industries for 6 years. And currently, she is a life coach who is coaching various people on various aspects. And she aspires to change people's life and make a positive difference to them. Sajita, a warm welcome to you. And thank you so much for being on a panelist today. Once again, a warm welcome to all our panelists. And I thank each one of you for taking out your time and being on our panelist. Some of our just wanted to make or probably share with everybody that some of our panelists or most of our panelists today are mums. They have kids, and which essentially means that they have taken out this time specially to share their journey with each one of you today. So thank you so much. And the reason I specifically said they are mums and have kids is also because to probably bring forward that motherhood is not a full stop. Motherhood is just a comma in each woman's life. And hence, we would hear from each one of them how they have got back onto career, what they have done, which secrets they would share with each one of you. It's Mother's Day in UK today. So for each one of you, a very happy Mother's Day for all the women who have joined around the world and all the moms here, wishing you a very happy Mother's Day. Know that each one of you are doing amazing work. Whether you're working, whether you're not working, doesn't matter. But you are a wonderful mom. and keep going. So just on that note, the format for our event today would be, we will begin with Choose to Challenge. What do our panelists choose to challenge? They are experts in their area of work. Their journey is extremely inspiring, and they would share their thoughts and ideas. We will begin with asking them what do they choose to challenge on the theme of International Women's Day. We will then move on to asking them how they have got back onto their own careers after having a career break. This was extremely important, we thought, because as mentioned, many women have lost their jobs in the pandemic. And at the same time, women who were thinking to get back to work might now be thinking, it's pandemic, will I get a job? Will I not? But our amazing panelists will throw light on how to get back to work after a career break. The third set of questions, we will have their own specific journeys. As I said, they are expert in their own areas. So we will talk specific about their area of work, where they will share many insightful ideas. Once again, welcome to all, and we will now begin the panel discussion. All right, on to our panelists. How are you all feeling today?
Great, pretty excited.
Awesome. Okay, so let's begin with the first set of questions, which is to choose to challenge. I would like to begin with Dr. Aishwarya. Aishwarya, and then with the same question would move to all our panelists. The first two questions would move to all our panelists. And the third set of questions, we will have specific questions. If you have any questions, feel free to type it. So Aishwarya, what do you choose to challenge?
Yes, first of all, I would like to thank Her Transformation and Success Coach Nilesh and Pradnya for organizing this wonderful event on the occasion of International Women's Day and introducing me to wonderful ladies here. And I would like to, yes, of course, after expressing my gratitude, I would like to tell you that I choose to challenge the same again, the underrepresentation of women in certain occupations and the underrepresentation of women in promotional levels of certain occupations, because I believe that despite organizations realizing the importance and the benefits of diversity and inclusion and devising EDI strategies and trying to implement it over the time, I believe that it becomes rather a compliance and not a culture, which it should have been. So this compliance activity, I think, is resulting into yet this underrepresentation of women, turning into the fair representation of women in certain occupations as well as at promotional levels, a forlorn dream. Because I believe that unless this EDI is ingrained into the DNA of any organizations, it is a forlorn dream. So I would like to again, begin challenging that. My journey began challenging this by getting the focus of gender equality and career progression of women, and I'm still continuing it. And of course, I have another challenge as well. On personal front, after personal tragedies, I'm collecting myself and getting back to work, getting back to start up something of my own again, because I took career break. And yes, I would like to challenge myself, my own capabilities, and go forward. So that's what are all my challenges all about. Thank you.
That's wonderful, Aishwarya. Thank you so much. Those were great insights, in fact, and like you rightly said, the gender equality which we talk about, which eventually in any organization becomes a compliance rather than a culture. And it is about time that we as individuals and organizations inculcate, seep into the culture. Only then it would make a difference in the compliance. Great thoughts. Thank you so much, Aishwarya. Moving on, Dr. Madhura, what do you choose to challenge?
Okay. Hello, everyone. Thank you, Pradnya, for the lovely introduction. I believe every person out here has their own unique journeys that they must be proud about. And I believe that there are people around you who are definitely getting inspired when you're sharing these stories. So thank you. And we all have been experiencing that on some front or the other since our childhood, which can put us into comfortable and uncomfortable situations because the change is always constant, it's inevitable. And if you don't work towards the change that you want to make happen for yourself, then you will have to settle for the change that will eventually happen. So something will happen to you, and it wouldn't be your choice because you didn't work towards something you were craving for or believed in. And I believe that when somebody's out of their comfort zone, then they are kind of making some growth or change. So today I choose to challenge is success lies or growth lies outside your comfort zone. I have always been a very homely person. I like to talk to people, but if given a choice, I would be a home person, a homemaker, live in the house, not do much of it, do a less of a career-wise things. But most of the things that I've achieved in success-wise is when I've thought out of my comfort zone, like thinking of a career, going out for public speaking, doing something on social aspect or getting some opportunities. It's always been outside the comfort zone. So that's what I choose to challenge today. And I believe in that.
Great thoughts, Madhura. Absolutely. And as women, a lot of times we hesitate to go out of the comfort zone.
And right? I mean, like, because, that's where the growth lies. And I believe, one of the things I read across is that the ship is very safe when it's at the shore, but that's not what it's built for. It's in the waters where its journey is, isn't it? So it's better to do that journey rather than being in your comfort zone.
Awesome.
You won't know what you're capable of until you go out on the outside your comfort zone.
Absolutely. Troubled waters.
Wonderful.
Troubled waters. Ship in troubled waters would make a lot of difference.
Try something. Challenge yourself.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Great thoughts, Madhura. And absolutely, I think we as women really need to, at every stage of our life, be brave and step out of a comfort zone. Before I move on to our next panelist, I just want to share a quick tip to our panelists. Feel free to probably share your thoughts on each of the panelists that they're sharing. By that, I mean, if you want to add or share about something that, say, probably example Madhura or Aishwarya has added, feel free to do so. Feel free to probably, unmute yourself and go ahead with the discussion. And that's the entire beauty of the panel discussion. So feel free to do that. Okay, absolutely. I mean, we are mindful about the time, but at the same time, we would also want to have a very wonderful conversation, which has a great takeaway for all of us. Moving on, Meenal. So what do you choose to challenge?
Hi, everyone. Pradnya, again, thank you very much for the opportunity, and everyone who is joining, welcome. I think my challenge is very similar to what Madhura has mentioned earlier. I would like to challenge the mindset of women themselves rather than expecting others first to change, because so many times, and I've seen this pattern in women, that they lose their confidence when there is a gap, or they take a break, or so many times, I mean, and again, it's a mindset, because when you want to try something new, or you are going out of the comfort zone, your mind will always tell you the worst of the possibilities, like, my husband will not approve this, or I will never find a support, or there is a gap in my CV, it's not even worth trying, or I won't be able to balance my career and my job, and there are so many, like, we ourselves shut ourselves down even before trying, because I believe that you have to help yourself first, and then you have to find people who will help you, and then you will move forward. But that 90% of the work that has to be done should come from you. And so this is what I want to challenge, even before trying, just analyze whether you are happy. If you're not truly happy with your situation, do something about that. Communicate that to your spouse, your partner, your family, and let them know, put it out there if you're afraid of them challenging that. And also have a very focused and positive attitude towards that. You will be surprised. You will be surprised that once you start the journey, 90% of the worst assumptions that you have in your mind, they don't even exist. So that's the thing. You worry about the things that would never happen. And then you will obviously face the 10% of the challenges which you never expect. So that is the beauty of that journey. So don't stop. You should be the last person to stop yourself. There are enough people who will put you down, but don't do it to yourself. Please move forward. Be an idol to someone else. You will have your daughter, you will have the next generations who want to look up to you. So be that inspiration, move forward, keep a positive mind. And once you start the journey, as I think Madhura again said, that life is very dynamic. Today the people who are upset with you, tomorrow you'll clash with them somewhere in the middle, they will surprise you, they'll help you, in fact. So don't just sit at home and think this is never going to happen. Why do I even try? In fact, just try, build that confidence and see that journey. So yeah, I want to challenge that mindset that women first, you help yourself, and then of course we want to expect other people to be fair and square, but don't wait for that perfect opportunity when the world becomes equal and everybody's like, oh yeah, welcome women and let's start all hunky-dory. It doesn't work like that. We are a part of change. So yeah, that's what I want to challenge.
Good one.
Awesome.
Wonderful, Meenal. And yes, very rightly said, mindset is where all the magic begins. It happens. So very, very well said that we have to try. The only way you can succeed is when you try.
Yes.
So
Absolutely.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Moving on, Neelima. What do you choose to challenge?
Hello, everyone. First of all, thank you, Pradnya, for giving us this platform and sharing our experiences with lots of people over here. Might be helpful for lots of them. Well, as everyone has shared about the choose to challenge and the career-wise and everything, I have a slightly different area to choose to challenge, and which comes from my previous experience in my life, and that is actually a journey for me to my motherhood, which wasn't it was a very bumpy ride, kind of a twisted tale, I would say. And in that, we figured out, me and my husband, when we figured out, we found out the root cause of it lies in the way girls are being brought up, because when there's not much enforcement on probably given to our physical education, or not exactly physical education, but physical activity we do, like the exercise wise or everything, and especially when we are growing up in our teenage years. So what I think is, like, there should be from the schools or from the parents, and there should be this awareness need to be bring to everyone, that as our bodies are growing and we are getting ready for future, I think we are the foundation for bringing up the next future in this world. So in that sense, it has been taught to the girls that to take care of own body, to do some required physical activities, like whatever the minimum required weekly or daily or everything. So have a proper nutrition in that sense, because it may not affect all of us, but sometimes for some of them it does get affected. And it's everyone's, it's in guidelines in everywhere that you should be keeping yourself active and this. But I think it should be really enforced on the girls particularly. We kind of keep it sidelined in doing everything else. So that's why I think I choose to challenge probably this thinking or this norm, and I enforce that one to happen at the school level or probably at the international level, wherever it is possible, particularly for girls, for the young age. So yeah, that's my thought about that.
Awesome. That's a great, wonderful thought, Neelima. And as they say, right, your mental and emotional stability really is driven by the physical activity and the exercise that you do. And that's a very, very valid point. As we grow up and move on to switch to that motherhood journey, that's a big transition, and there's a huge physical shift also which happens. A lot of times it's looked as taboo.
Yeah.
Right? And I think it's about time that, we really challenge those mindsets, like you rightly said. And that's a wonderful point which you have brought up to the platform of the women's health, which is looked as taboo, whereas we actually give birth to the next generation should be challenged. Absolutely. Amazing point. And that's a very, very
responsible creating a nature, creating whole world. So why is that on second line? Like, why it's not giving it much importance? Because we ourselves, we are working in different things, and we ourselves keeping ourselves filled. That means we can actually look at all the different things. If we won't be filled, then we won't be able to do that much best. So I think it's important.
Wonderful. Great. Thanks. Thank you so much, Nilima, for that wonderful thought. Moving on, Sajita, what do you choose to challenge?
Okay. First of all, hello to everyone, and thank you so much, Pradnya, for giving us all such a wonderful introduction. And I truly believe that each one of us, irrespective of being in the panel or in the audience, we all are doing our best in today's scenario with COVID and all. And what I choose to challenge is completely in terms with whatever Aishwarya, Madhura, Nilima, and Meenal have spoken. But I just want to concentrate just on one thing here, and that is, yes, we all know that women restrict, we ourselves restrict a lot. We don't want to think out of the box. We don't want to go out of our comfort zone. We don't want to do this. We don't want to do that. That is because of our beliefs, which have been, given to us ever since we are growing up, when it comes to physical or mental health or whatever it is, which is or physical, problems which women have on a day-to-day basis, because we have so many issues with our health and with our mindset, our psychological issues and all that. But more importantly, I think as a society, it's not just women who are here to, it's not just our responsibility to empower women. Society in general, be irrespective of the gender, race, caste, religion, men, even men are responsible, or everybody in the society is responsible to empower women right from the grassroots level. Like when you're bringing up your children, or when you talk to your family, your friends, irrespective of their caste, gender, religion, whatever, this thing should be at the top of everyone's mind. And that is, how do we empower women? How do we empower, or how do we remove those old beliefs in our system and go towards something new as a society? Because just empowering one woman is not going to help, because the society consists of a lot more other aspects as well. So I choose to challenge those beliefs, those mindsets which we have been following for years together now, and things which we don't speak out openly, which we consider as taboo or anything. That should change completely. And we all should come forward as the whole society towards working, towards the empowerment of women. And it is such a big word. Empowerment is like, it's the word nowadays. When you speak about International Women's Day, that itself is encouraging, isn't it? Because the reason we are celebrating International Women's Day is because something has been achieved. So that itself proves that, we can do more. And that's it. It's just changing the belief system and the typical things which have been happening, the norm things that has to change. And I choose to challenge that. Yeah, that's it.
Wonderful thoughts, Sajita. Thank you so much. Sorry. Sure.
May I add something?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Meenal and Sajita, you are quite right that women try to restrict themselves and are not motivated. But my take on that is, the choices that women make in certain situations, they are not independent choices, as I have examined. They are always socially constrained. So, choices are not independent in my view. So it is rather, it is on the other side also, the culture of society, as Sajita has rightly put up. The culture of society influences the choices that women make, or the structure of society influences the choices that women make. Same is with the workplaces. So,
Absolutely. Yeah.
I completely agree. The societal norms are so much imbibed into our minds that if we do this, this is not supposed to be done. Even thinking of a career move. Okay, you have children. Why do you want to work? So there are people who have come up and asked me, why do you want to work? Everything is going on fine in your life. It's not because, so there are these myths which is involved with career. It's to earn money. It's not just for money. It's for your own mental well-being, to prove to yourself that yes, you can make a change. So these are the
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally. Because
I think
I've taken a career break, and I've heard that as well. Why do you want to work?
Yeah.
And this is what, because we don't want to work for money, but it gives the different kind of
Yes.
confidence and that independence of
Yes.
it gives us.
I think everybody of us has faced this. Why do you want to work? Your husband is working, making more
yeah,
money. Why do you want to-
same.
Yes.
Yeah, that's true. That's
So
true.
it's not money that is all about. It is the sense of
Yeah.
satisfaction of doing something on your own. That sense of freedom that we get by working, by doing something. That is much more important than money, I believe. So
Yeah.
that's
think
that's
Like
the real
somebody-
empowerment.
that's what
And
I
freedom
wanted
that-
to say,
yes.
that
Yeah.
the woman needs to find some courage to express that. At least don't assume that everybody's going to just pounce on you. At least I had a few friends who would mention me a few times, oh, I wish I had a job, or I wish I had a career, and then I asked them, then go for it, have a plan, go for it. And it was
Yes.
quite like, they are in UK, they could take decisions. But she told me, no, my husband won't like it. So then I probed a little bit. What does your husband say when you express that? She said, I never had that conversation. Kyunki jhagda kaun karega? So they just directly assumed that if I voice my opinion, jhagda ho jayega. I'm like, then you don't blame your husband, because he doesn't even know that you're unhappy. Find that courage.
Right.
Yes.
Maybe he'll help you. So that is what I want to say, that
Yes, absolutely.
at least I'm not saying that, and there is a reason why it's called challenge. Challenges are difficult, and we are a part of generation who are a part of momentum. So I completely agree that if you are from a rural area, they will not have the same luxury and upbringing that I had. I had very strong women in my family who have given me that liberty. But even if we hesitate, imagine what they will do. So that's why at least the people who have luxury come out, so that's why that was my point. But I absolutely think that everybody needs to give some space for women to grow. That's what I meant.
Yes.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Right. Somebody has put in the comment here about,
yes, I was about
we
to
all have this guilt of you put yourself first, and suddenly, because you're a mother, you put yourself first. You're like, aren't you taking care of your child or your husband or your, whatever responsibilities you have at home? How are we going to manage? But it's rightly said, you cannot serve from an empty cup. That is very well put, and I completely agree with it, because if your mindset is not right in any way, you can't guide your family, you can't guide your child or anyone else. So
and I think as ladies, we should not put our, like, it comes from the childhood, where we think going out, meeting someone, talking to someone is a kind of a place where as an escape, but that shouldn't be it.
Yes.
It should be more of that it shouldn't be considered as an escape route. So making sure that you are fulfilled so that you can give more often outside to the outside world is a better thing to do. So yeah, definitely you can't pour from an empty cup.
Wonderful, awesome discussion, everybody, and it's really getting to a very interesting point, I would definitely say, because, and like all of you rightly said, right, brought up various points of what do you really choose to challenge in terms of the way women have been brought up. It really begins from that, and the way our beliefs and values have been seeped into our system have been so deep rooted. I think it's about time we as women have reached that stage where we need to first start challenging that. And yes, and I would definitely very probably, I think I know most of you, or have been known most of you, and you all are really doing that at your own level, both in personal and professional life. And it's quite inspiring to see all of you really challenging those norms of and breaking those stereotypes for women. So yes, thanks for doing it for all of us. And like Sajita rightly said, there was a comment here which I would like to read out to everybody. I think as a women, we all have the guilt of putting ourselves first is always considered and defined as selfish, whereas self first is not selfish. This is called filling up your cup, as you cannot serve from an empty cup. And rightly said, it was sent by Deeps to everyone.
Yes. So it's a very good point.
Yes.
You cannot serve from an empty cup. You have to, like they rightly say, you have to self-love, right?
Yeah.
So yes, wonderful points which have been brought forward, and let's all probably pause for some time and consciously choose to challenge all of this in our own way at various levels that we do. Moving on to the next set of questions that we have for our panelists today is, as we began the session, right? And at the stage of life that we all are in, whether we want it or not, it seems to be improving for all of us with the vaccines around the world.
So, yes.
We do see a light at the end of the tunnel. But having said that, the facts have been remained that it is said that it would take about 250 years to reach the gender parity or the equal pay scale that we keep talking about, right? 250 years is a very long time. I don't know how many generations of ours will they see, but the good news is that we all have inspiring women like our panelists who are challenging that at their own level every single day. And all of them in our panelists have had a career break. So if somebody is thinking over here in our audiences, they think, somebody in the panelists have, including me, myself, have break myself, and all our panelists have been on a career break at some point in time, but yet they all are doing successful in their careers today. So our second set of questions is about how each one of you have got back to your careers. So what we would really probably, one, you can share your own journey of why did you knowingly, unknowingly, consciously, unconsciously went on a career break. Second, what did you do to get back into workforce? Whether that could mean various aspects, right? Whether it could mean, how did you start looking for a job, or what did you consciously do to get back into career? Whether it could be reskilling, or probably that part we will talk in the third aspect, but probably share your journey of how you got back to work and your tips on people who are wanting to get back to work, who are on career breaks, lost their jobs, whatsoever, right? So probably let's start with Dr. Aishwarya. Aishwarya,
Yes.
on to you.
Probably, I think, Pradnya, my story would be different because motherhood doesn't feature in my life. So my career break is for study. So I wanted to pursue a higher qualification. And I believe that we women are more passionate and are driven by passion that makes us choose what we are today. I mean, whichever profession we are in, or even at house, we are passionate and we are guided by our passions. So having said that, I would like to tell you that I was always guided by my passion, and therefore I chose my career as a lecturer first. And then I was not getting what I wanted to do. So, it was strictly delivering the syllabus, and there is no role of transforming the lives, which I always aimed at. So I chose to start my own consultancy and, starting giving consultancies to various organizations in improving their workplaces, so management development programs and all that. So while I was training these people into the IT sector, I saw that at entry level, my trainees included equal number of women and men. And when I used to take management development programs, I would see hardly any woman, sitting there. So that triggered my passion. And, I left my successful entrepreneurial career as well as my lecturership career to do PhD in this area. So I was again guided by my passion, and I took a career break. Everyone told me that you are idiot, at this stage, when you are having a successful career, you are leaving it and are taking career break just for education. Is this the age of getting educated also? Because we see that we settle in life after completing our education, and we don't then again usually take a career break to pursue further education. So I was that woman, who just without thinking anything, just wanted to pursue. I took a career break and I started my PhD journey. So it was a long career break because then I had several problems. There were some financial crisis, then my own health suffered a lot. in this study, achieving my dream. So it was just, I had to take in that career break, even in PhD also, a break of almost 1.5 years. So it's very difficult when you are pursuing a PhD, which is already a hard work, and getting back to it, pursuing it after a break of 1.5 years. So if you go by statistics, you will see in UK, the dropout rate of PhD students is over 70%. So you can imagine, after, 3 months of break, people don't pursue that. So, 1.5 years, again, I was not doubtful, but everybody around me was doubtful. Will I be able to do that? I was motivated. I feel that when you are motivated from within, when you have fire in your belly and passion, nothing can stop you.
No.
So I again went back, joined, passed with no corrections, which again is, so it's, I believe that, and I agree with what Minal already has said, that don't stop and don't think that you are not able to do that. You just go on. And what happened, as I passed my Viva, I had a cruel blow from destiny. My husband and my mother-in-law both passed away due to COVID. And yes, and after that also, I have collected myself, and now I'm thinking of doing something, in my career, either seeking job or starting my own, because I had that entrepreneurial streak in me, which is not letting me sit quiet. So I have begun now, gathering up resources and putting up things together and starting something of my own, a consultancy again. So, I think women are more strong mentally. I think they are driven by passion, and they can break these gender norms, stereotypes. This is all about my career break. But even when I was pursuing my dual career, I had to face these stereotypes. Like, one of our guests, she said that you are rated as selfish women. When I was doing work, devoting a lot of my time in improving organizations, as well as developing my own business and all that, many people have called me not. I had extremely cooperative family. My husband was a gem. He funded my studies and everything, so I had absolutely fantastic mother-in-law also. So on home front, there were no stereotypes, there were no gender norms. But when I went out of the house at workplaces, I had to face a lot of criticism for being a career woman, dry, emotionless, dragon woman, these words, are always attached to it. But I never bothered myself with that, because I thought that what I am doing is right. As long as you are sure about yourself, you are convinced about your own capabilities, and you want to go ahead and do something. It's not for money. It is for the sense of satisfaction. It is for the sense of doing something for others. When I said that I will challenge, this diversity and inclusion, which is becoming a compliance, each one of us is an activist. So no matter if it is 250 years for to bring in that gender parity, I believe that if each one of us is an activist in herself and is ready to go forward, I see the dream in reach. So that's all about what I have to say right now.
Aishwarya, I believe you're such a strong person in yourself. I think you just motivated and inspired all the panelists and people.
Definitely.
And sorry for the loss.
It's very difficult. It's very difficult.
Yeah.
But it's a part of life. You have to get on. You can't die with people. You have to lead your life.
And one of the
that's what.
One of the things that you said, that you changed your career in the middle of the what I want to stress on, we have such strict norms, isn't it?
Yes.
Where we have been given timelines as to you have to achieve this at a particular age. You can't change your career after 30s.
Yes.
It's quite different when you come to, it's okay, Kunal. It's okay.
That's right.
Sorry
that's
about
right.
that.
That's right. No, it's okay.
So,
that's fine.
It's nothing. Yeah. So it's more about that, that you can change your career at any time. I've seen my colleagues here who have done like pottery for 10 years, and then they go into medicine. and
Yes.
nobody questions them. But I think we are, as back home, or maybe an Asian culture or cultural beliefs, we think might be
Yes.
pressing on it, where you're questioned, why you're changing your career now.
Yes.
There's so many questions coming from people around you that
Yes.
you doubt
Why are
your
you studying at this age? Is this the age of study?
and
That's
it's so difficult even for people who are well educated. I can't imagine how difficult it must be for people who are not educated in
yes,
villages.
absolutely.
So difficult, isn't it? And it's really good to set such examples. Actually, it's
There's no
really important.
limit for anything, to be honest. For age is just age.
It's just
And
a number, it's just a
and
number.
so many things. Yeah,
Yes, it's just a number.
Yeah, thank you.
And
Thank you.
I also like the fact that no matter what people called you, you were just doing your job.
Yeah.
And I've seen when women
Yeah.
are assertive, they are looked at as the
Yes.
B word, or
Aggressive,
you're
aggressive.
difficult. But go for it, really kill it. Like
Yes.
men
Go for the
never
kill.
have
Go
to.
for the kill.
People say you're a psycho.
Yes.
Why would you
Yes.
take pills? I'm like, okay,
Yes.
who's laughing now? No, go for it.
Yes.
The more they say, the more the success, isn't it, Meena?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Right. Wonderful. Thank you so much, Aishwarya, for sharing your journey with everybody of us. And before I proceed further, really, as I've said last time when we spoke, really sorry for the loss that you have had. And I even today, as you expressed and share your journey, I literally got goosebumps. But it's really, truly an inspiring journey. And we really hope that with your PhD and it will definitely make a difference. It will.
I
yes.
will ensure it makes difference,
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. And it's so wonderful to see women like you working towards it. So thank you so much. Moving on. So Dr. Madhura.
Hello.
Do you want to if your kids
Yeah, they're all right. Sorry, they were just a bit
okay,
excited.
that's fine. Okay. So yes, moving on. So I think, like as I said, how did you get back to career in terms of what did you do?
Well, I had lots of career breaks. Now, some were for maternity, 2 of them. One was for, I think, when I moved back to moved here to UK from India in 2013. And I left my career, well-established career there, my family back home, like we all do. And I had to start everything from scratch here. I personally think I took that break as an opportunity to just come back and think, should I be going ahead again with medicine, or should I be doing something else as my career in future? So anybody who is kind of at the break now or looking for jobs or have lost their jobs, I think this is the perfect opportunity to think about it, whether they want to do something else. What do they see doing in like coming years? 10 years down the line, do you see yourself doing the same thing that you did in the past, or you want to try something else? Make this as an opportunity where you can come up with ideas. And I did same. And given I had 2 options, whether I can come back to medicine, where I can start from scratch, give lots of exams, which was a difficult situation here, or I can follow my passion of doing something in art or social activities or something which I really like doing, connecting to people, helping them in some ways, which seemed quite a bit more easy compared to this NHS jobs with exams. And as usual, I went with the uncomfortable situations out of my comfort zone. I gave the exams, I kind of cleared, got into GMC registration, and then I had this opportunity to work independently, earn financially, and then I realized I'm pregnant with my second child. So I had to again think of what should I be doing, because here I am after 10 years of break, ready to work, 6 years of break, ready to work. But because of this being pregnant, I had to make a decision on that area as well. So I again took a career break for a year, which was more difficult at that time because it was not planned. But then I started working. I worked, and the one thing I think is very important to know is things could be quite comfortable at the place where you're working at the moment, where I was working at that time. And I knew that down the line, I don't see myself coming out as a normal specialty doctor after many, many years. I think it was much more important for me to go through this training program, this vigorous training program, to come out as a doctor, which would be more responsible, would be given more responsibilities in future. So then I had to make a choice as to what profession should I go in. I knew it's a trainee doctor, but then there are so many branches and specialities, isn't it? I wanted to make a choice which is more has a work-life balance in it. I don't want to work nights. I want to look after my kids. I think these decisions are really important as a ladies you can make. And when you have this big break at the moment, if somebody is looking for jobs, thinking of those things that, you don't want to do it should be at the top of your list, rather than just going for any job that you get in hand. Wait for the right opportunity and go for a job that you think might be much more useful for you down the whole line, rather than just at that moment. Another thing is knowing that things are not going to be easy. So for me, when I went into training program, it was really difficult. There, even if you say it's NHS, because we are immigrant doctors, we have to experience different kind of behavior towards us in general. There's lots of pressure, there's lots of judgment there. And to be honest, you are assessed every day, every moment. And it's a thing where you have to prove yourself on daily basis with the people you're working with. So knowing that it's not going to be easy is a career choice that you have to make, even if it's your choice, that you love it, you want to go do anything for it. It's not going to be that easy, even if you prepare yourself. So the things I prepared for is like knowing with the colleagues around me, getting more information, how things can be more useful. At the moment, given this lockdown, there are so many webinars coming up which are trying to help people to learn so many strategies, coping mechanisms on personal levels, make use of it. And I definitely made use of it. I did this amazing program that her transformation, which Nilesh and Pradnya did. And it really helped me, I would say. It is one of the programs, and it was quite challenging to know, people from different aspects are learning at this point of time, even when they are in the middle of their career, doing well, but they're still struggling. So it isn't just the people who are looking for jobs, it's people who are in a job are also struggling at some point of their time of life, isn't it? So learning some interpersonal skills, I would say. Like, I think Meenal is going to give us very good information on that in coming part. And the other thing is knowing that it's a part of your life. This career which you're doing is a part of your life. It is not your whole life. It's always been my thought process. I am not overtly ambitious as Dr. Aishwarya Patil you are. Like, I am quite strong personality, but I'm not very ambitious. I have to make sure that there are other aspects I give importance to. And sometimes that's the difficulty every female faces, where to balance it, where to give importance to family, your friends, your social life, your career. And that fine tuning comes slowly. It doesn't come straight away. You learn from your mistakes. But, and I think career itself, if down the line, if you see doing yourself this kind of job and you feel, okay, I've achieved it, but one of the things that will always feed your soul is something you love. So it can be career, it cannot be a career. People who are really following their passion as career are really fortunate and really lucky, but they work towards it. It's not that it's just happened by chance. So if you feel, I would say to every ladies or people out there, if they have a passion they want to follow, they have a hobby they want to follow, they can still pursue it with the career. Don't forget it, because that's going to feed your career eventually. It's going to give you more confidence to do better in your career. So yeah, I would say these are the things. Just do what you feel like doing.
Awesome. Great tips and advice that came across, Madhura, from your own journey, and absolutely hats off to your courage and never give up attitude, I would say. And we all know that if anybody wants to become a doctor, that journey itself is not easy, right?
No, I've given like 10 exams till now.
Wow.
I still have to give
2
exams.
Starting everything from the scratch again.
Yes, it is a very difficult journey
I mean,
for the NHS doctor. Yes.
Especially after
Madhura, starting it all over again from the scratch after migrating to
yes.
Yeah.
And
After completing your degree, if you have to start again from the scratch, it itself is a very big challenge.
Yes. And I'm still going through that process. I'm not at the end of the journey. So it's still a process for me.
Hats off to you for starting
No,
all over again, the
amazing.
same thing.
So it's very inspiring, Madhura, to see your journey in terms of how you have, and especially in a new country, right, where the exams are different, the systems are different.
Yes.
Culturally, like you rightly said, I do not want to go into deep, but it's very different, because the way Indians are looked up to and the kind of judgments we have to come across, it's not easy for somebody like us to face it. And you have been doing it day out, day in and day out, and it's such a great inspiration. Some of the points that I really loved was one of the aspects that you said, that try and understand what you do not want.
Yes, I don't realize that, but my husband said it to me when I said, I want to go into GP training because I don't like doing nights. I'm not a night person. I want to sleep at night. And I think most of the doctors who are into general practice, they are of the same thinking. We don't realize that unless we speak to each other.
Absolutely.
So know what you want to do and what you don't want to do is really, really important.
What you don't want to do in terms of your cutting back to career is important when you're looking for a job. And also the point that you made about learning and development, as to whatever your area of work or skill has been, try and always, and yes, like you said, Meenal will definitely throw more light on learning and development in terms of how we can reach.
So these things are really missed, I think. I spoke to you last time as well. I personally feel these things are really missed, where I think IT professionals do have lots of meetings where they talk with each other, come with strategies and everything.
Absolutely.
But we don't get exposure on their behalf back home in India.
I had recently interviewed a doctor and who's been in London for about 22 years, and she did share her journey, which you rightly said, IT, it's very different, but for doctors, it's very challenging. And hats off to you, Madhura, for doing it. So yes, moving on, Meenal, how did you get back to your career whenever you have had a career break?
Yeah, I think, again, my story would be a bit similar to Madhura, because I was in India and I had a completely different background. I was in biological sciences and I worked as junior research fellow at an institute. Then I got married and I came to UK, assuming that I would resume the same career over here and, with the same job title, maybe, somehow you just assume that that's how it will flow. But of course, I got a reality check where you realize that when you come to UK, everything becomes irrelevant. You have to do your qualifications again, you have to search for opportunities again, and you have to start from bottom. But with me, slightly it was different. How again she mentioned that you can do two things. One is you can start from scratch in the same profession, or you can take it as like a new beginning and do something else. And I chose the latter. I was in biological sciences, a very shy person. I remember, I couldn't even go to the till to buy something. I would send my husband and ask them, can you please buy this for me? Because I was so I was so scared of, what I don't understand the accent. I don't know what people will think when I speak. It was that bad. And but eventually I made a career in human resources. So in a way, I feel like I don't know how I did that, but my journey was when I realized that, I had no option but to start something all over again. I thought that, okay, what is it that, if I can't resume that career, and I kept on thinking, is it even worth to do a post-graduation, then do a PhD, then, search the same kind of institute and go back into that. And it's a good thing that I analyzed, because I realized even if I did all those things, I was not completely happy. I felt like there was some kind of a vacuum in that career. So I started fresh. So I actually, the way I overcame that was, I did a lot of volunteering. I went to volunteer shops. I did volunteering. I would go and volunteer at a lot of events, actually not even knowing, what I will stumble into and what will be my career. I treated every opportunity as this was like the defining moment of my life. I never thought, because the thing is, a lot of people today ask me, how do you get a job at Amazon, or how do you get a job at Google? And I don't have a clear answer to them that, you do this and then bam, you get a job. I start rambling about, I did volunteering here, and then I did this, and then I did that. But one of the turning points during that time was one of the managers at a charity organization. She told me that, Meenal, you will be very good in human resources or marketing if you want to choose a career. And I just, trusted her decision. I thought, okay, some manager at charity saying that, let's see. So that's when I actually started digging around, in human resources, what is it? I used to think human resources is just recruitment, to be frank. So I started learning more about, what it is, what is it that will excite me? Is it even worth trying? And slowly, I kind of, started getting interest in that. I searched about, what are the qualifications that are required? What are the opportunities I can get? And, how the things can flow for me. And then eventually I found, unpaid internships, again, more volunteering work, no paying for like first 5 years, literally. But I kept on doing that. I kept on treating every opportunity as like, my training ground, my boot camp, where I was very clear. I want to understand not only HR, but like how Madhura said, like the soft skill part of it, how to communicate with people, how you have conversation, because I realized that if you don't have these things, there is no point in you being an expert in something, and then you will never progress. So that was something that kept me going, that I was always excited to learn something new in that area. So anyway, I eventually did the qualification simultaneously. I built up my experience in volunteering, and after that, it was a very exponential growth in terms of me getting the opportunities. So I would say what kept me going was treating find each and every opportunity which is around you. Because people say, but I have only 6-month visa, what can I do in that? I'm like, go find. I remember the time when I was like, I hit a wall where, I didn't know what I was choosing, and I was sitting at home. One day I just got up and I walked to city center without knowing, like, I was like, I need something to do. I can't sit at home like this. And I went to town center and I went to each and every shop telling them I'm ready to work for free, but is there anything that I can do? And then there was British Heart Foundation who said, maybe you can come on Saturdays if you want. So that's how it started for me, because I was so determined that, when I become restless, I was like, no, I need to change this situation. I can't breathe here. And then, as I said, and now, like, I am in learning and development profession. The reason is because I get excited about learning new things. I know that, you can't rely on a qualification you had 10 years ago. You must have done an MBA or stuff like that. And that is a big mistake. People expect that I've done MBA and I've had 10 years of experience in so-and-so in India. So I need to get the same level of job here. I need to get the same level of respect here. Unfortunately, it doesn't work like that. You have to have a growth mindset. You have to have a positive attitude, and you have to have a lot of focus and determination, and you have to face the challenges. And that's how, I kind of overcame. But one more thing is, while I was getting these opportunities, to work in different companies, sometimes I would get contract roles, mainly contract roles, which would say, we need someone for 2 months or 3 months. And I never thought about is like, what after 3 months? Sometimes people just reject those things and thinking after 3 months, I don't have any guarantee. But I took on those opportunity, and of course they extended to like, 2 years or 6 months or whatever, and kept on, going like that. And yes, one of the challenges when you have contract roles is that when the role ends, there is a significant gap. The gap you can't predict. It can be 3 months to a year. So not only I had a gap of a maternity leave, but every time I did a contract role, I would have a gap of 3 to 6 to a year. But I'll tell you something, that every time I had a gap, then the very next day I started learning about the same career that I was interested in. And every time I got the next job was a level higher than what previously I was doing. So, the myth that when you have a gap, you have to step down, that never happened to me, because I constantly learn. I have like LinkedIn subscriptions. I do these kind of webinars. I connect with people on Facebook. I seek opportunities of knowledge sharing. I discuss things which only aid in growth for all of us. So yeah, as a L&D professional, that is always my agenda, that please learn. Learning gives you confidence, learning gives you relevance, and learning, you can jump without being in the company. You can actually get promoted even if you have gaps, which has happened with me. So yeah, learning is the best thing that you can do in your gap years. So that's how I did it.
Wonderful, Meenal. That was absolutely great. Hats off to your grit. I would say that when you spoke about, you literally went to every charity shop and volunteering, and it could be, and that's something a lot of times we end up probably giving up, right? It's like, who wants to do
It's very easy to give up. Yeah, like gap things. No, they are very depressing.
Absolutely.
But if you know how to use those time preciously, because I've realized once you start a job, you don't get time to learn these skills.
True.
So use very, very carefully. The gaps are the best thing that can happen to you. You analyze, you reflect, you take good decisions. So don't see them as stepping down. See them as, okay, I have a gift of time. What do I do with that for now? So that's what I think it is.
Wonderful. Some really great points that you
shall I say something? You changed the perspectives of career breaks and gaps. Completely the perspective has been changed. Well done. Thank you so much. And very useful tips. Don't shy away from any kind of work, may it be voluntary or whatever. Useful tips. Thanks to you.
Thank you.
Absolutely. And the fact that, one of the facts that what I really loved about what she said was that she took up every opportunity that came to her, whether it was small or big. And like they rightly say, right, every opportunity that comes your way will take you to the direction of your dreams and passions.
Absolutely.
Right? So that's absolutely great, wonderful journey, Meenal, and it's been such an inspiration to hear about your journey. And the thought that, what you shared about constantly learning. And we keep saying, right, I did my MBA like 10 years ago. It is
30 years ago.
Exactly. Absolutely. We have to constantly. So if you have to, again, some thoughts which I would really kind of want to probably put together is that keep learning, take every opportunity that comes to you, even if it does not align with your current skill, it's okay, because you will learn, right?
Yes,
so
there's something, isn't it? The world bends to a stubborn heart or something.
Yes,
so we were so keen on learning. It actually,
the universe,
I'm quite stubborn. Actually, I'm very stubborn girl.
The universe listens, or
pros and cons.
The universe listens to a stubborn heart.
Yeah, that's good.
This platform also now we are discussing. It's also a learning.
It is.
It is offering a lot of learning. Your experiences and your tips are so inspirational. Like I'm learning now. I'm on a learning mode. So that's wonderful.
And the perspective that everybody has for career break, right? After your career break, first perspective, I will not get a job, which is wrong. It's a myth. Second, which Meenal is a great example, is that you will not just get a job, but you will get a better job, a better position.
Yes, that happened with me. So that's why I always tell them, don't worry about the gap. Learn what is it that you can achieve. And then don't wait for the interview to stand at the door and then you start preparing. That's not how it works. You have to visualize, okay, this is the company, I want to get a job here. How do I go about that? And that's why, I managed to get into the company that I target always.
Wonderful. Great. Nice. I just want to probably share with our audiences and our panelists as well that we did have the webinar and our event from 2 to 3, but I'm really sorry we have been going on with the time. The discussions have been getting so interesting, but I would really request all of you to probably hang on and until we finish our event, because we intend to do so and not end at 3 o'clock, because the reason is we really want to bring forward thoughts and ideas from our panelists to everybody. Really sorry about that. We have been quite mindful about the time, but the fact that we have been talking about such an important topic today, which is about women and getting back to career, and hence I think there has been an extended time. Really sorry again, but I would really wish and hope everybody stays with us till the end of the event. We have been getting some great comments in the chat box. So I would probably say, panelists, you can have a look. People have been really
by yourselves,
inspired by your journey. So yes, please take a peep in the comment box and just give a
read. I think the last section is more exciting, isn't it? Where
it is. Yes, absolutely. The last
is more important, I think. Yeah.
Not to take too much of time, moving on to Nilima. Nilima, so how did you get back onto your career whenever you have had a career break?
Okay. As you in the introduction you said, I had some very when I around 13 years of career experience. But before that, after 10 years of career in IT, I did kind of had a conscious thought about taking a career break to look after my child. He was young around that time. So I took a career break around that time. Probably I think, and I had a similar thoughts, to be honest, because after a break of maternity, 1 year break of the maternity, I went back into the job. And what I found, because our IT field, our technologies and everything is so much fast paced, it's changing continuously. Every year is a big change in there. So it's changing so fast. So I felt like, and previously to before I go on maternity leave, for previous 2 years, I was working on slightly different technology. So what was my core was, I hadn't touched my technology around that time. So I realized there are a lot of things for me to pick up and everything to get myself up to the speed. And then after a career break, after maternity, I started my job again. My son was young that time, but somehow the circumstances changed. We moved to a different city in the UK. And then that time I have to get back into the job again. So have to obviously house shift and everything, and those things were happening. And then I started looking for the jobs again. And then I realized when I got into the jobs, I felt like, you know what, I'm really struggling here, because the thing was happening is that I felt like I'm missing on the technologies. I need to pick those up, because obviously, and having a young child at home, spending all 9 to 5 hours in the office and then coming back to home, I think how much you will, probably in the software industry, you would understand, Aishwarya, if there are probably, you need to be proper geeky to get into that one. And you know how geeks are. Yeah, they're constantly on to that one. And for us, like for working mothers, where we are trying to handle all the different responsibilities and our jobs and everything, even though I've led the projects, I've done project management as well in my previous role and everything, I've handled all the projects, but I still felt like that I'm missing that knowledge, because world is changing. From where I started 10 years back, this is not that thing, and I constantly need myself upgrading. So, and felt like I'm constantly trying to catch both the things. I'm trying to spend time with my family, want to have that, that precious time when your kids are younger, and then trying to juggle between my workplace as well, because I want to do best over there as well. So I took this conscious break to completely focus on my child, because I knew I'm not going to get those early years later on. But it wasn't just a break. I decided to invest that time in learning something, in picking up those things. As I think, as Amelia rightly said, you need to, because we don't get that time when we are working, when learning new technologies and everything. We just don't get that time, right? And that's what I got that time. And during my career break, I just wasn't at home. I explored lots of options. I had a 10 years of career. I know how the IT careers is. I thought, should I just go back into my IT career, or should I do different things? I explored some of the entrepreneurship opportunities as well. I did analysis on that one. I got involved in the event management. By doing that, you get to know different people, how the things move, and how to deal with different things. So I explored a lot of things, and after I think couple of years, I settled for I think it's best to get into the IT industry, because there are some more things to do, which would probably more suit me, and for route for me further is probably through here only. So I decided to go over there. But so I used that time then to upgrade my skill set, because obviously, as I said, when I started 10 years back, it was like things are getting very old, like a legacy or something new. And I felt like it was like a midlife crisis for me, because you need to constantly upgrade yourself. Like when you start, there can't be things relevant all the time. They will get old, and you need to learn new things. You need to upskill yourself. So what I did, I took a proper online trainings from, there are very good websites like Pluralsight for us or Udemy. So I took some learnings, trainings from those online training sites. I did some practice projects for that. And after doing that, when, even though pandemic hit, but my learning journey was still on. I was doing something, I was learning something. And when the job market opened again, I was ready for it, to be honest. So what all the companies I applied for, to be honest, I didn't get any rejections. And the reason behind that was because I was ready for it. I knew what I had to do. And to be honest, during the time I listened to one of the TED lecture, and in that the topic was similar about a career break of the women and getting back into the career. And she really mentions in that, I don't know the speaker's name, but she really mentions about the things like, when we want to get back into the career, we really know what we want to do, how we want to do, and we are really focused about that.
Yeah.
And that's absolutely right. Because my advice, we are free. We get that time to think on our journey, previous journey, what we want to do. And I think everyone must do that. Career break is not at all a taboo. It's just a time for yourself to think about what you're doing, why are you doing, which direction are you going, is that one suits to you or not. So yeah, it gives you a good perspective. So I went on that one, and companies are looking for skilled people. If you don't skill yourself, if you don't upskill yourself or upgrade yourself, it will be difficult. I did before learning which technologies to choose for, I did a bit of a market research. What is exactly happening in the market and what are they asking for? So it's very easy in IT industry compared to when I started. It is very easy now to finding out about all these things, what is happening in the market, and to getting trainings, to building your projects, to show something like your work you have done. So I did all that, to be honest, to get back into the job. And that's why I think I landed at a good place which was actually giving me what I'm looking for, or what journey I've chosen for. So yeah, I'm happy to share it. I wanted to keep it short. So just
wonderful, Nilima. What an inspirational journey you have had. The fact that at every I have worked in the IT organizations myself, right? And I have seen, like you rightly said, we all know that technology is so fast changing. Every day you open your eyes and you see new technology into the market. And the fact that you have to keep upgrading yourself and keep up with the market can really feel like running more than a marathon, right?
Yeah, and to be honest, I was feeling that one. I'm continuously running a marathon when I'm into the job. I'm trying to we get more responsibilities at home. We have to juggling between that both to it's okay to take break and reflect on yourself and what it is doing and what world is doing, and build those skills. It is very important. World is waiting for those people who have skills.
Correct.
The world needs those people. It's not a break or it's nothing, I think. And I had my struggle in the sense, even though having some 7-8 years of experience after coming in this country, the first company I interviewed for, they took my interview for 3.5 hours.
Wow.
To check everything. Yeah. Even though after having experience in IT. Yeah. And addition to that, I had a good experience working for Sainsbury's in London in their IT. But still, you come to this country is new, people still doubt on you. And that's going to happen. I think that's part of you have to prove yourself, I think. Because you know yourself. I'm best. If you're not giving to me, sorry, it's your loss. Yeah, because I know myself, how much I can give. And okay, I think that's fine. I proved myself over there. But you get that one start and just, as Meenal said, make most of it. you'll be able to carve your own path further, and that's how you can get ahead, I think.
Wonderful. And it's absolutely very, very brave and courageous. Just keep going all the time and learn the new skills in IT. And one of the aspects which is coming out of lot of our panelists' journey is that everybody has kept themselves updated and upgraded in their own field of work. They have constantly learned, done some courses, and never gave up, no matter whatever career breaks they have had. That's one aspect. Second aspect, we also hear from a lot of panelists, whenever you take a conscious career break, do not look that as a taboo. Take that as a wonderful opportunity where you can reflect, think, pause for some time, because life is all about, not running running after the rat race. So wonderful journey, Nilima.
We are doing everything. We have our families. We can't just constantly live into the career and offices and all those things.
Absolutely. And like Madhura rightly said, isn't it? There are different aspects to life that we would also want to cherish and nourish. And at the end of, in our old age, want to look back and smile upon. So wonderful journey, Nilima. Thanks for sharing so much. Moving on to our last panelist for this set of questions, Sajita. So whenever you have had a career break, and like I mentioned earlier, you have actually come back into career, and I want to specify this, after 10 years. It's not a joke. After one
year. Actually it's been a decade now. It feels like as if when I worked, it was exactly in 2009 I quit my job. And the reason I quit my job was, of course, for the thing that I got married and I had to move to UK. So at the point of time when I got married, I was supposed to be in India, but things happened quickly and then we had to move here. And I quit my job thinking that I'll come to UK and I'll do the same thing what I did back in India. I worked with bigger corporates. I was in IT recruitment. Pradnya was also working with me. So I had this thing, oh wow, I'll go to UK, I'll do the same thing, like how Meenal specified and how Madhura thought about, I'll just carry on from where I left. But then when I came here, it was completely different. You need to have different certifications. Whatever MBA HR you did back from Pune University was like looked upon as, okay, it was just, it couldn't work here. And then we started our family, and then I went into that constant rut of family and kid, and it was kind of, I didn't want to come out of it, and I kind of stopped myself from coming out of it. So like unlike you others, like Aishwarya, Nilima, Madhura and Meenal, they wanted to work and they were going forward, but for me, I didn't want to work. I was happy in whatever I was doing, and I was content, I was peaceful. But very recently, couple of years back, 3 years back to be specific, I kind of had this thing in my mind that, no, this is not what I want to do. I will do this, but along with this, I want to do something else. And that's when I started thinking about, and I had this thing in my mind. First and foremost, I would like to tell all the women out there that, you want to go out into a career after a long or a short career break, just prioritize what you want to do. In fact, write it down, because writing is kind of, it helps. You have all these things in your mind, it's correct. But I don't know, I think Meenal or Madhura rightly said, think about what you don't want to do when it comes to your career. Because when you take out that aspect of your plan, it becomes much easier, because then you're left with just things what you want to do, and that is where you're going to target. So do that. That's what I did. I prioritized, and luckily for me, I kind of came to something, or I concluded that I want to do life coaching, because I kind of figured out that's my purpose. And I want to try, I've just started doing it now, and I just want to try out purpose and career together, see how it works. If it works, well and good. If it doesn't work, it's okay. There'll be something which will come up. So that's one aspect of it. And expect to have friction, change, setbacks, failures, just be prepared. But don't ever give up. Take small steps, just like how Meenal did. She did her contracting thing and she took a break, but she didn't give up. And all of y'all, none of us gave up. So, and I don't think anyone should give up. Just take those small steps. And then, and here I am, and the very thing I'm talking in this panel itself is a big achievement for me, because I feel that, we are sharing our own experiences, raw experiences. You can read about a lot of things on Google. Again, coming back to the same thing I keep saying, you get so much content on Google and everything, but talking to women who have gone through changes, who have gone through those experiences, is something very different and very inspiring. So yeah, so get the support, get help, do whatever you feel you can, reskill, learn, develop your interpersonal skills, especially if you're in a different country. It is so important to communicate. And if, especially in UK, they have these different accents, and if you don't have a neutral accent, people won't be able to understand you. That is a challenge. How are you going to communicate? Because if you want to work, you want to talk, you want to communicate, you want to write emails. And so start from the grassroots, whatever you feel. So make a list of where you want to, probably explore better of what you can do, prioritize and conclude, and don't ever give up. And also when you make a plan, don't think about, this is my end goal. Keep it very fluid, because when you keep things fluid, you always have a fallback thing to go on, and you're not disappointed. You're not, because already you want to move into a career, and if you see setbacks, you see failures, you're discouraged. So make a backup plan, keep everything fluid, have a short-term goal to start with, because we all get overwhelmed when you think about, 10 years down the line, 20 years down the line. I personally would keep, a 6-month goal and work towards it, towards the bigger purpose or career you want to go to, but keep things fluid. And one thing, the bottom line is, don't get into the negative mode of, I can't do it, I won't get an opportunity, unless nobody's going to come and give it to you at your doorstep. Like I think Meenal mentioned it, right? That the interview is not going to be, served on a platter. You have to strive for it and take small steps. Don't think about jumping from step A to step Z, go to A, B, C, D. And I think that worked for me. It's working for me, and I'm sure it'll work for all the other women who are out there, are, looking to have a career change or coming out of a career break. That's what I think would, help all of us as women. Just keep going. Don't stop. Whatever you're doing, whatever little you're doing, just constantly keep doing it. The small things. That's it.
Wonderful. It's a great, inspiring journey, Sajita. And some of the points that you really brought forward was, everything is there in our mind, but we have to really write it down.
Write it down. And it's kind of affirming yourself. When you write it down, it's like an affirmation. It's like, yes, I want to get a job, say in 6 months down the line. It may sound like a cliche actually, but then, it works. Because when you put your thoughts into words, especially when you're in and that, what do you call it? The path where you are trying to move out of coming out of your comfort zone. You've been a mother, a wife for, in my case, 10 years. Everything was going on so nicely, but then now I've come out of my comfort zone. I'm meeting people, I'm talking to people, I'm changing lives of other people, which is a big thing. And that is
and it's so inspiring, Sajita, that one of the aspects that you also really pointed out was, especially because we have Indian panelists today, and like you rightly said, that especially when we have to go out and probably look for a job, you need to have people really look up to you in terms of the way you talk, what the emails you write. You really need to have, and that makes a very, very lasting impression. And some of the great points that you really brought forward were wonderful, Sajita. And it's been a great inspiring, because 10 years is not a short time, right? After 10 years, probably we would want to go back and say that, well, now the time is up, our life is up. No, that's not the way. And you have proved it, that life does not end. Or rather, we say that, okay, after 10-year career break and I'm getting old, why chase a career? No, you are a great example.
I also want to add something for all the women out there as audiences, and even men. Actually, I can see a couple of men also there in audience. It's not just to do with career. So here, when I say, you come out of that normal thing, or you come out of your comfort zone, it's actually not just for career. For anything you want to do, you probably couldn't complete something, when you were a kid, or because of your, other responsibilities in life, probably you couldn't pursue a hobby, you couldn't pursue a sport. I mean, if your health permits, if your circumstances permit, I believe, strongly believe that, we all should be even going for that, irrespective of a break or, other aspects to it. But I think we should all pursue what we probably left a couple of years back, or a decade, or 20 or 30 years back,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We understand with you.
One of the aspects that
Whatever
I
you want to do,
bring forward is that I strongly believe, I'm of a strong belief that we are all here for a purpose beyond our standard norms of being a mother, being a house, being a homemaker. That's standard. But beyond that, there is something God has sent us for in terms of this talent and skill that we carry, and due to which we can be able to transform many people's lives. On that note, I will move on to the last set of questions that we have. I know we're really running short of time and shoot over beyond time, but the discussion and from the panelists have been so wonderful. Thank you to each one of you for sharing your personal journeys. And in the chat box, again, I would say, please probably take a sneak peek. And if we have some time, I will read out the chats to individually. We have had some amazing comments to each of our panelists who are here today. And your journeys have inspired so many people who in our audiences. And the fact that most of them, whoever have joined at the beginning of the session, are with us even in spite of shooting over the time. But yes, that itself proves that our panelists' journey has been so inspiring. So thank you so much once again. Moving on to the last set of questions, just to be a little mindful about the time, can I really suggest to the panelists that I am going to probably have a timer of 3 minutes, just so that we can, I know it's a very short time, and the last section was like, I think Madhura or somebody said this, Aishwarya said that the last section itself has a very interesting set of questions, which includes in your own area of expertise. But I'm really sorry, I will have to have the timer just to be a little mindful about the time, and so that we take any questions if we have at the end. So yes, probably we will start with Aishwarya. Aishwarya, as you rightly said through your own journey, that you have worked as a professor, and then you moved on to entrepreneurship, and then you pursued your PhD, right? So my question to you is, of course, we are talking about how can a woman get back to work, but if somebody is already working, how can they move from a corporate job and become an entrepreneur? Or anybody wants to start the entrepreneurship journey, how can they do that? And just to be a little mindful, probably let's have a timer of 3 minutes.
Yes, I'll be brief, Pradnya, thank you. I think that there are 3 things that anybody, not just women, require to change their job or to be an entrepreneur. One is mindset, the other is skill set, and the third is networking. So mindset is the belief that you can do it, the belief that despite all obstacles and the risks involved in entrepreneurship, you still be able to sustain it. That is called the mindset. I'll be brief. Skill set is whatever it takes to develop your skills. There is Sajita, there is Pradnya, there is Minal, they are ready to give you all the necessary skill set that is required for, develop yourself as an entrepreneur. And the networking, that is really important. Now, this platform, we have networked not amongst ourselves, but there are several audience. So, you need to develop the network. So develop the network with the funders out there, your allied, the relevant people to your businesses, keep the mind open and try to get in touch with the people who could be resources to your business. But in the end, I will say that it starts with an idea. And for that, I have a reversed your unhappiness, and that's your business idea, I believe. Because, you might find it difficult to cope up with anxiety. You're not getting along with your partners. You are worried about your children's education. You are worried about taking a house. You are worrying about, spending vacations and all that. Try to learn your unhappiness. And, that unhappiness will give you an idea to start your own business. Because there are lots of businesses. There are lots of people who are doing same things again and again, but I think very few people focus on unhappiness and learn their own unhappiness. Yes, my tips.
Wonderful.
I'll be very short. Thank you, Pradnya.
Thank you so much, Aishwarya. That was a great brief gamut of how to start a business of anybody wants to. And the thought that, look at your unhappiness, you will really get the idea, because business starts with the idea generation. And then you have your mindset, the skill set, and the networking, which is 3 aspects of business which you shared. Wonderful. Thank you so much, Aishwarya. Moving on, Dr. Madhura. So you have been a doctor in India. You have started wonderful journey in UK as well, working currently with NHS. Because it's International Women's, hence I would probably want to have a specific question around women's health. What is your tips and advice as to how women can maintain, a good health? When I say good health, not just physically, but physically, mentally, emotionally. What can they do? And maybe some proactive steps.
Okay. Thank you, Pradnya. I think when you say proactive, I always believe it is like a conscious effort you're doing towards something. And one wouldn't realize it unless we experience something bad happen to us. So say like, if you realize, oh, my knee's hurting, then you need to exercise. Oh, I think I'm struggling. I'm not sleeping well at night. I think I need to manage my mental health. So proactively, when you say, I think most of us make a conscious effort once we realize we are getting affected by something. And that's the first step of knowing what you need to work on. And everyone out there, just not you all, me too. It's a conscious effort I do every day. As to knowing, for ladies especially, I think the monthly periods that we get, that makes so much of hormonal changes in our body, that all of us experience different kind of mindset during that time, physically, mentally, and making a conscious effort to what I realized after experiencing is that knowing what works well for you to maintain your physical and mental health during that time is very important as well, because you can do meditation, yoga when you're just before your periods, because you're physically not kind of capable to do it, but you can do rest of the other things, like you can do any physical activity. When you say, I think everyone around knows what physical activities they should be doing. There's so much of data outside, you would say, free YouTube videos that you can follow, but knowing what works for you is an individual choice, isn't it? The other thing I would say is changing that. If you know you want to lose weight, focus on that. If you think you want to just make yourself feel better by doing some kind of exercise, like walking, do it. It doesn't have to be a particular specific thing, like you have to do the same exercise and everyone has to follow it. It doesn't work that way. You do things that are beneficial for you. And the other thing is, emotional health is such an important part, I think, part of our journeys since the lockdown. It's not just people who are at home, it's even people who are working, people who are stuck at home with work from home with their kids. Everyone has to focus on their mental health and emotional health now. So try and come up with strategies that I think you can cope up with. I would say there is so many apps available outside on internet. Go grab those. Try and change your emotional health in some way. But again, as you know, it all comes to knowing what you want to do and whether you want to seek help in that front or not. So
wonderful. Thank you so much, Madhura. I mean, those was really some great tips that you shared in terms of what you really want to do in terms of your physical, mental, and emotional health. There is so much available to all of us. And one of the most important aspect which you brought into limelight, which I would probably want to, what you said, stress upon, was the physical, the exercise, which you rightly said, right? And wonderful tips. Thank you so much, Madhura, for that. But yes, moving on to Meenal. So Meenal, you have been into HR, into learning and development in that field, right? And your expertise has been in that. We all spoke about getting back to career, and of course, we all spoke about learning and upskilling ourselves. So what can women do to upskill themselves? How they can upskill themselves is one aspect. And second aspect is in a way that it kind of fosters their career growth.
Okay, I'll answer the first part first, and then the second part. Learning, specifically if you are talking about getting into a career or a job, there are two types of learning you need to take into consideration. One is technical expertise. So whether you want to be a graphic designer, whether you want to go in marketing, whether you want to go in automotive industry where you have to operate a specific software, you need to make sure that you are updated with that knowledge. So make sure, because you cannot perform your job if you don't have technical expertise. That, like, it's a very simple thing, isn't it? So make sure, and I've said this before, don't rely on a degree which you had taken, I don't know, whenever. Things change, knowledge changes, knowledge is very dynamic and world is dynamic. So you have to always keep up with what's happening in the market and always update yourself and keep it relevant. Now, it always doesn't mean that go and find a college where you have to spend £10,000 and then get a degree. Learning doesn't have to be a classroom thing where you go as a student and there is an instructor who is throwing words at you 8 hours and you are, maybe you have to give too much of time. Nowadays, thanks to internet, there are so many learning, open universities are there. There are so many learning platforms out there where you can actually get a very good curated curriculum. For example, there's Future Learn, or when there is like LinkedIn or something like that, Now, I would say if you're looking for technical expertise, don't rely on YouTube or Wikipedia. Okay, that is just to give you an idea of what a certain thing looks like. But if you want to be an expert, make sure that your sources are relevant. Go and check out the websites that mention those sources.